Hello, everybody. I'm Saleha, and this is Chai Chat and Community. A big thank you to Dr. Raj Khillan for joining me at a time which is unscheduled, but he always helped me whenever I need it. So, June is Men's Health Awareness Month, and the theme for this year is Healthy Habits. We are going to be chatting with Dr. Raj Khillan on how we can encourage our men and boys to build healthy habits by just making small changes. But before I start, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we are meeting this morning, and I pay my respects to the elders past, present, and emerging. Did you know that more men are likely to fall sick than women? This is also true for children. Boys account for 2 in 3 deaths. Why do you think this is so? For men, it's because they tend to go to doctors less and talk about their health problems. Migrant men have more health problems compared to women. Also, 43% of Australian men feel lonely, an issue we are just beginning to understand and talk about openly. Thank you, Raj. Let's talk about this very important subjects. We tend to talk more about women and children, but this time we talk about our men who are very, very important part of our lives.
No doubt. To complete the family, we need both men,
Absolutely.
women, and that's how the family starts.
Absolutely. So men don't take care of themselves, whatever be the reason. Why do you think it is important for men to be healthy?
I think before going to that thing, I would like to pick up from the point you said that men are more likely to be unhealthy. So understanding the little bit of a underlying bit of a stats would give us the idea how unhealthy men are. Uh, on an average, in Australia, we are there's no doubt, healthiest and the wealthiest country in the world. Still, men on an average life is 7 years shorter than women.
Wow. Okay.
So, of course, there is some genetics play the role, but there are a lot of other add-on environmental risk taking and other behavior which makes men to live shorter than women. And if we look at the stats, uh, suicide out of three suicides are in men.
Wow.
Alcohol related death out of four, three are men. Road accident out of four, three are men. Around 95% of work related death, men. 70% of all the death in young people between 15 to 34 years of age are men. 4 in 5 heart disease in less than 75 are men. So it is such a scary number.
It
Why,
is,
on an
yes.
average, we looking at this number? That's why it is very important to know. And at the same time, the studies have shown that on an average, men are 24% less likely to visit doctor for a routine checkup, not for the disease I'm talking about, as a routine checkup. 20 more than 20% are more likely to more likely to neglect their cholesterol when they know even that it is high, and a similar number likely to neglect when they know that the blood pressure is high, taking a blood pressure medication. So it's a very scary number, and where men are ignoring their health. And when you say men are very important part of our life, there's no doubt, and particularly in the family where he's the only earning member, the breadwinner in the family, and then everything eventually depends upon men and the men's health. If you have a healthy body, you can have a healthy mind too. So in totality, the holistic health is important, and the whole family health depend upon man if he's the only earning member in the family. And that's why looking after men, their own health is important and crucial. There are various factors, as you said, why we don't look after ourselves as मेननेस मेलनेस जिसको हिंदी में कहते हैं कि मर्द को दर्द नहीं होता है ना दैट ईगो टू शो दैट पेन is is considered as a perceived as a sign of weakness. Is it perceived as a sign of weakness? And that is coming from ages. You know, look at the way, if you look at in our childhood things, when my mom used to say, as a man, I remember as a boy, oh, लड़का होके रोता है तू. हम्म, तो लड़का होके आज तुम ऐसी बातें करते हो. तो लड़का होके that ego has been put in the man's brain from the very beginning. That you cannot show your pain, you cannot show that you are distressed, you cannot show you have a physical ailment, you cannot show your physical health issues. So that ego coming from traditional, cultural, and the family have put it in you as in the living in a male dominant personality, a male dominant world and society, that you cannot be weak. Second thing is important thing is denial. Oh, I'm healthy, I eat healthy, I sleep healthy, I do all the right things in my life. How can I be sick? So I don't need to go
Yep,
to
absolutely.
fear. Fear is another thing, like fear of, if we go to doctor, I'm scared he will pick something out and he'll tell me this is wrong with you. So, and then some people are not comfortable of going to the doctors. You can talk to doctor on my behalf and ask what's going on, and it's okay. I will accept that. So asking a family member to go and do the things. So these are the few of some of the factors where we keep ignoring the things for various reasons, and eventually we end up with bigger disaster and the ailment which could have been prevented or treated early, and we ended up in the hospital setting or shorten our lifespan.
So you've actually covered everything that I wanted to say, but we will go a few things that we feel are important. So we talk about eat, sleep, drink, move, and connect. So let's go to the first one. What tips can you give men and boys about food and health?
Yep.
Yeah. Simple
You know,
things for somebody who's starting.
look, it's a very easy to say eat healthy. In general, we talk about we should eat healthy, but what is healthy for you may not be healthy for me. There are certain food that
Absolutely.
are generally healthy, but what is healthy for you may not be healthy for me. In the similar way, vice versa. We need to understand what are my body's need based on my daily physical activity, my daily routine, and then we work on that. Of course, in general, we talk about you should not eat too much fatty food, we should not eat junk food, we should not eat this one or that one. There's a lot of food which definitely we need to avoid, but depending upon if I am a slim average BMI man, then having any type of food is not a problem for you because it's going to be digested for you. It's not going to be extra deposited as a layer of fat in you. But if you are already at the edge of your BMI, yeah, your BMI, normally, the standard is considered the BMI of 25. And if you are going 27, 28, or 30, so you will may not look obese
And
or
yep.
overweight, but you are at the edge. And then at that stage the healthy food is important for you. When I talk in general healthy, though I'm not a dietitian, but I'll talk about adding some degree of greenery in your food. Adding a salad, adding a green leafy vegetables, and adding in a fresh fruits, and avoiding the tin food as much as possible. That would be the best way to go.
So I'm going to ask you a quick question. We've been talking about interest rate hikes, and for many homeowners, this has come as a shock, right? So even if there are two people working in a family, or even one person, a lot of curtailment is going to happen. And the first thing that happens is not eating out, or doing correct food items. So in such a case where money becomes an issue, what do we do? How can we still be healthy by eating simple food? Like for us, it's dal chawal. I mean, that by itself, it's a protein and a carb. And put any other green vegetable, that makes a complete food.
Yeah, look, there is no doubt. I mean, dal chawal is very healthy. Dal is in India is called poor man's, meat
Yeah,
because it's full of protein. So 70, 80%, more than 80% of Indian are vegetarian and they are
yeah,
surviving on dal chawal. So it does not mean they are nutritionally deficient, particularly in the present time. So if you eat dal chawal, it's fantastic. There's no problem with that. With the limited money, of course, the changes can be done like as a dal chawal or adding in a vegetables would be good. You the other important thing, what particularly from the cultural perspective, I would like to discuss is the way we cook food. Like if
yeah,
I sit in my clinic, probably I would say 90% of Indian children of both sex, male and female, they are iron deficient. And when I talk to the family retrospective, our mom said, "Oh, we whole family is iron deficient. I'm also iron deficient."
yeah. That's not a
And
solution.
that is the iron deficient. It runs in our family. It's genetics. We take it as a no. It's not genetic. It's not genetic. It is the way we cook food.
Yeah,
That is the problem. The extra fry, that kills so many nutritions and minerals and vitamins. And because of the getting an extra flavor and taste every day regularly when we eat, the iron supplement reduces. The vitamin get destroyed. So that is the issue. It is not the dal itself is the issue. How the dal is cooked is
yep,
the issue. And if we look at the sprout dal, that is full of a green all the
yep,
vitamins and minerals
yep.
and no fry. So that has got a there is no doubt that is much healthier in terms of the nutrition content. Calorie will still be the same, probably maybe less than the cooked dal with the curries and everything, but the nutritional component, the quality would be much better. So with the limited resources, we can change the way we cook the food, way we present the food, rather than increasing the quantity of the food or portion of the food.
Sure. I've started just boiling my dal, and just, we do the tempering. I just do half a spoon of ghee with cumin seeds, and that is it, with a bit of hing. So, it's still healthy, it's tasty. I don't fry anything, and that has become my girl's favorite dal, and my friends love it, and it's healthy. It's very, very healthy.
Exactly, this is very healthy, and that is the full of nutrition, and it is traditional in India. If you remember, my mom used to give in an early morning, and and still, it is scientifically proven.
I do in winters, dal with a lot of vegetables. You can take it to work as a soup. I
Yep,
do, and you can have bread if you want, so if you're not full. But that by itself is very healthy and keeps you full all the time.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So this is something that I've been wanting to discuss for a long time. Sleep. Why is sleep important as exercise and nutrition? Because I see so many people sending text messages on social media at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, both here and overseas. They just can't sleep, or maybe social media has just taken over their lives.
Look, initially, as I said, healthy mind will live only in a healthy body. And for healthy body and a healthy mind, we need number one, of course, a good nutrition. And the mental fuel comes from good sleep. The good nutrition is your fuel for your body, but the mental fuel come when you give a rest to your brain and having in a good sleep.
Yep.
And for the good sleep, it is very important to have a some regularity in the life. And that's where the problem is nowadays. The regularity is lost. So particularly in young age,
Yes,
someday
I
we
was going to.
sleep at,
Yep.
someday we sleep at 3 a.m. and some one day we are sleeping at 10 p.m. and most of the teenagers are sleeping 2 a.m., 3 a.m. and then they come to my clinic. Oh, doctor, my child is having headache. And then when I send the parents out and ask the child, and okay, tell me what time you go to bed. Oh, I go to bed 10 o'clock. But what happens? Because,
Yep.
because I don't let mommy know. So then the iPad and the phone are inside the blanket and
Yep.
lights are off and I am on my phone. So I sleep at around 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Why you are? Because I can't sleep. So no, because you can't sleep. That's why you are on phone. Because
Yep.
you are on phone, that's why you're not able
That's
to
what.
sleep. So that the
Correct.
temptation is there all the time. I need to chat with my friends. I need to go to the social media, Snapchat and Instagram and TikTok videos and to see what's happening. And that's there is no doubt. Screen is time is of course in one way there are good things they're getting aware of the world what's happening, but at the same time, particularly for our teenagers, they are destroying them. And so that good quality of sleep is the important part for every age, every gender.
And I think it also starts from when a child is born, after the 3 months. It's how you put your child to sleep and have set timings for them to go to bed, not like 9 o'clock dinner and, 10 o'clock. I mean, I know my girls went to sleep at 7 o'clock, even though we lived in Delhi. 7 o'clock, unheard of, but it freed up my evening. The girls had a routine. And and then when they grow up, they have their own lives. It's different. But I think we should start from the time the child is born, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I appreciate you raise the things. The healthy living habits, it comes from you being as a
Yep.
role model. You being as a role model, all these healthy habits, whether it's of eating or sleeping or alcohol or drugs or eating, everything comes from you as a role model. So what you put in your child is a mirror image of you.
Absolutely.
And this is what is going to be for his children. So whatever you're taught, if you're giving a wrong modeling from them, you are spoiling the next generations, not one generation, because that child will learn whatever you taught, or this is the right way of living life. So he's going to pass the next generations in the same way. If you taught the right way, it'll going to go in the right way. So your role modeling is important, and I think sleep is a very important part for your uh, functioning. Of course, some of the cases with
Absolutely.
this is where medically I want to uh, stress out the importance of a quality of sleep. Like when I talk to the children and say, oh, when I ask the child, mom, does your child snore? And then the child directly point out to dad. I don't snore, but dad snores. But immediately dad say, "But that's fine with me." It is not fine with you.
It is not fun.
It is not fine with you snoring at any age. If it's persistent and consistent snoring, it is a disease. It is a problem. It need to be sorted out. It is affecting your quality of sleep. You can never have a good resting sleep, and that means it's going to affect your workplace in the daytime. It's going to affect your behavior. It's going to affect your quality of life in a family, with your work, with your mates, with everybody. You're going to have physical symptoms, headache, always being very tired, physically exhausted. You were having a bit of a naps, power nap in between sitting in a lecture and having a power nap there. So these are the things going to happen in your life if you are not sleeping. So sort out your snoring. If you're anxious, it's going to affect your if you have anxiety, it's going to affect your sleep. You will be keep turning and tossing and thinking about what's happening. You need to sort out your anxiety to have a good quality of sleep.
Yep.
If you have an early morning insomnia, you're waking up early morning, 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and then you're not able to sleep. If it's a consistent, you need to think about, is it a depression which is affecting me? If you are too much sleepy all the time, that's also is a problem. So sleep is the most important part of our life to recharge our body. As the petrol fuel finishes our car, you can't run the car. In the same way, we can't function. Our brain cannot function properly if we are not having a good quality of sleep. Not the sleep itself, I'm talking about good, refreshing sleep. And that, as a man, on an average, the duration of sleep for each age is different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Children may need, in fact, need, when the baby is born, they need around 22 hours of sleep. By the time they become, 6 months, there is around 14 hours of sleep. By 1 year, they need around, saying 12 to 14 hours of sleep. And by the adult, we need good around 8 hours of sleep.
8 hours sleep.
When, of course, when we become more than 60, the age, it
It
reduces to less.
reduces. Yeah,
6 or 7, 6 hours, 7 hours is okay. So having a good quality of sleep is important. And the importance of sleep, gone to that stage, now we have a separate speech sleep specialist. It's a become a separate
yes,
branch itself, a speciality to understand the complexity of sleep and the importance of sleep and how we can improve the quality of life at the wider community.
absolutely. Okay, my favorite drink. How does alcohol impact men's health? Because
Ah,
Patiala pegs are big.
yeah. Look, I think it's a self-explanatory. There is I don't think I should speak too much about this, and it is a self-explanatory. We all take
I don't,
it
but that's
for
okay.
all means, like all majority of men,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but
And
but
women.
and women too. But access of everything is a issue. No alcohol, if you take in that way, is safe during pregnancy. No alcohol is safe before driving. I believe in that way. There's no alcohol level is safe. It reduces your functioning even at less than 0.05. Your cognitive power, decision making power, it reduces your reflexes, and chances of accident are there even if it's less than 0.05. There is a difference between social versus more than social drinking. I would like to mention few signs which every man need to be aware of and where they should consider going for help. If you are drinking alone, sitting in your room and having, or in your house and drinking alone. We go to party, having 5, 10 people drinking, fine. If you are drinking alone, that's it's not a good sign. If you're drinking every day, or at least more than 4 or 5 days per week, if you are drinking more than one bottle or around a one bottle of wine every day,
That's a
if you are
lot.
drinking during daytime, or if you need to have a drink in early morning, that is not a good sign. That are not a good sign. You definitely need help. You need to revisit yourself and see where are the things going wrong and how I can improve. These are the signs, some of the signs, not all the signs, some of the signs that you're getting alcohol dependent. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Moving. So, how do we, simple steps about how to move? We talked about it before. So, for someone who's never exercised, I mean, I know I hate going to the gym, but I see a lot of men walking. What do we do with young boys? How do we get them? Sometimes it's not, they can't go to the gym, school, this, that. How do we make them move?
Look, we talked about the role modeling. You can't say a child, oh, you go for a walk. Important thing is, let's go for a walk as a family.
Yep.
And that word is more important for me rather than you go for a walk. And it's not only walk, it's every aspect of life. Let's do this. Let's do that. You know?
Doing it together.
Yeah, doing it together. To this is basically to develop that habit and empowering them to do it independently, developing the independence in them for everything. Let's go out. Let's go for shopping. Let's clean the room. Let's keep everything tidy. And then slowly, slowly, you pull yourself out and let the child do it alone. That is the way you encourage or engrave the habits in our children. That
Small
is the
steps,
best.
but big steps. Yes.
It is a big step. You ask a 15-year-old child or 12-year-old girl or 13-year-old boy who has never been into any sports activity, who never gone out for a walk, and never has a bike riding, and you say, "Oh, why don't you go for a walk? You're sitting at home all the time." He's not going to go. But if you say, "Come on, mate, let's go out. We can go for a walk around and 1 kilometer in this area." Start with a small, because this child is a deconditioned child. He will be tired. Next day, if you go 10 kilometer or 5 kilometer first day, he's not going to go next day with you. So you need to slowly increase the things. First day is 1 kilometer. Next week, maybe 2 kilometer or 1.5 kilometer, and then increase the strength. Take the child to that stage where after few months, 6 months, if you don't go, the child will come to you, "Dad, let's go for a walk."
Yep.
That's the mantra for this.
Connect. Why is mateship? We hear so much of mateship in Australia. Why is mateship important for men's health? And I suppose this goes back to 43% of Australian men feel lonely.
I I'm really glad you asked about mateship. Mateship is a very Australian word, very typical Australian word, you know. And 20 years ago, when I came to Australia and I wrote this name, "Hi mate, how are you?" So I didn't understand at that time what does actually its meaning is. Its meaning is friendship, loyalty, and equality. So developing a trust, faith on each other, having a social networking and connections with each other. And as we say, the man is a human animal, a social animal. So we all need these social connections, social networking. And studies have shown that in science, lack of social connections is as unhealthy as smoking 15 cigarettes per day. It can increase the chances of heart disease by 30% for people those who are living alone, those who are not having mate. That the mateship is so important for all of us. And the lack of mateship, it increases there's no doubt, increases the chances of heart disease, as I said, more than 30%. It increases the chances of having a suicide rate, increase chances of suicide, having the mental health issues if you are living alone, and more chances of having getting dependent on drugs and alcohol. If you're sitting alone at home and drinking alone, then it's a likelihood one day you will go likely to be dependent on alcohol. So this is the more important part in this. I mean, unfortunately, particularly in middle age, it is very, very common thing, lack of mateship. One in 10 men in Australia above the age of 40, they are living alone. One in 10 men above 40, they are living alone. And that is a quite shocking number. That means these are the men are going to ignore their health, high likely of getting alcoholic, like getting drug dependent, may commit suicide, having mental health issues underlying, and they are likely to ignore their many health issues and are likely to have a heart disease too. So, particularly at risk are, as I said, the middle aged people, middle aged men, single dad, separated people, unemployed men. So, these are the likely risk factor where the mateship is more important. Every age is important, but for this age is definitely it's just a very important thing.
Okay. I am going to ask you a last question because whatever else I had, we've kind of covered it. What are some of the diseases that men should be aware of, and what should be the precautions?
All right. So look, as I said, the suicide, road accidents. If you remember from the beginning of the uh, interview, we talked about the suicide rate in men, the road accident death, the workplace related death, the alcohol related death, the heart disease related death in adult in men is more common. The other disease which is likely to ignore, other, of course, is a cancer, diabetes, lung disease, secondary to smoking, cancer secondary to smoking. They are more likely to be ignored by adult. But and there is a I this is where the awareness program is going on, and which I think is more likely to be strengthened. Despite this awareness, many men are still ignoring the things. I'll give you the example of like as a colonic cancer, bowel cancer screening
Yeah, yeah,
starts in Australia at 50 years of age. So 50 years, the national team will send you a kit at home. You need to do the occult blood testing in your feces. Take the sample, put it in a bag. They send all the pack to your home and
yes.
send it back.
And postage paid, everything. You don't have to do anything. You just put it in a letterbox.
Everything. But shocking number, those who don't send it back.
Yeah,
And which is such a easy test to check for your bowel cancer. And I got so many people I know whose blood cancer was first detected from that occult blood. And they are still survive after 25 years of the cancer detected, treated because it was picked up in very early age. Prostate cancer is another cancer. Routine screening is suggested above 50 years of age. Children, those who are no, not children, the adult, those who are more than 45 years of age, diabetic screening is recommended. Routine blood pressure checking for all adult every 2 years. Cholesterol checking every 5 years. So these are the routine checking which can be done by your GP. But most of the time, when they don't go for these routine checkups and they ignore these things, and that's where the International Men's Day or Men's Health Day is creating a lot of awareness.
an impact. Yeah,
Yeah, so that as a man we can leave our male ego, मर्द को दर्द नहीं होता वाली feeling. So leave that away, and we should get for a routine checkup and pick up these things, these diseases early, because whole family health, well-being, mental health, financial health, it all depends upon the main earning member of the family, man. And even if you're not the main earning member of the family, if one member of the family is sick or in a hospital or dies, it affects the
of course.
a whole family significantly. And more than that, I believe it's affect the future of the children. Their everything is disrupted. So considering the all these factors, I think as a man, I would sincerely suggest, recommend, request to get these routine checkups. Please don't ignore your health issues.
Thank you, Raj. Thank you always for joining me, and I will see you next month. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.